Welcome, future EMTs. In this video, we're going to keep it short and sweet. There won't be much to look at on the screen, so sit back, maybe even close your eyes and just listen in. Today, we're kicking off our NREMT exam prep series by going over one of the smartest ways to improve your odds of passing: avoiding common mistakes. Whether you're brand new to EMS or brushing off the cobwebs, this info will help save you stress, time, and possibly even a retest. I hope you enjoy. Mistake number 1, not understanding the test format. The NREMT probably isn't like your classroom quizzes or exams. It's computer adaptive, which means the difficulty adjusts based on your answers. Students often walk away thinking they failed because the questions felt increasingly hard or they got a lot of questions, but that can be a good sign. Don't get rattled by tough questions. It might actually mean you're doing well. The NREMT cognitive exam is divided into 5 content categories. 1 is airway, respiration, and ventilation. 2 is cardiology and resuscitation. 3 is trauma. 4 is medical, including obstetrics and gynecology. And 5 is EMS operations. Each question also falls on one of 3 cognitive levels. Recall, basic knowledge, just asking you what this word or that means. Application, using that knowledge in context. And analysis, critical thinking and decision making with the available details. You can receive anywhere from 70 to 120 questions. The test will stop when the algorithm is confident that you either A, passed, B, failed, or C, hit the maximum number of questions. If you pass, then the computer has decided that you met the standard with certainty. If you failed, the computer has decided you are not likely to meet the standard, and in rare other situations, you hit the maximum number of questions without a clear determination and somebody has to review your score. But we don't want to be in category B or C. Hopefully, with the prep and finding this material online, you will pass in as few questions as possible. Understanding this structure helps reduce anxiety and hopefully sets a realistic expectation. This part is huge. Understand the test format. Now you do. Mistake number 2 is simple: memorizing facts without context. Many students make the mistake of cramming flashcards without understanding why something might matter in the field. For example, it's one thing to memorize that low blood pressure is a contraindication of nitroglycerin, but do you really understand why that's dangerous for a patient with low blood pressure? Without context, you might forget this or miss a critical contraindication hidden amongst other symptoms. Think about a situation where a patient with already low blood pressure gave themselves nitro because they didn't understand this. By understanding this mechanism, you might be able to figure out what's wrong more quickly because you understand the dynamic. Always ask yourself, how would I use this knowledge in a real emergency? Focus on how facts connect to decisions you'll make in the field. And if you're using flashcards, I don't despise that. That's great that you're studying, and I don't want to discourage it either. But maybe change things up and go through the flashcards very slowly. And on each flashcard, ask yourself something like this: How would I use this knowledge in a real emergency? Do this with some friends in your class and let me know how it goes. Stir up a little bit of discussion around each topic. Use it as a table game, but think a little bit more deeply than just memorizing facts. Mistake number 3, skipping medical and trauma assessments. The exam loves to test your understanding of patient assessments. Don't just review the steps, practice them. Get a friend or a mirror and walk through a primary assessment with them. Know when to stop and manage life threats, prioritizing those things over other things, and if you can assess confidently, you're halfway to passing. Pay close attention to the critical fail items listed on your National Registry Psychomotor exam skill sheets. These are the things that will automatically fail you in a hands-on exam, but they can also help you eliminate wrong answers in the written test. If a choice involves skipping a critical step, like failing to manage an airway or stop a life-threatening bleeding, you know it's not correct and you can cross that answer off. So definitely, don't skip medical and trauma assessments. Just because you passed that exam already, maybe, doesn't mean you should neglect it when studying for the National Registry computer exam. Mistake number 4, not reading the question carefully. NREMT questions are tricky on purpose. And throughout my time as a student and even teaching, I've definitely looked at questions and selected the wrong answer. Because why? Because I jumped to conclusions. So take your time. Look for keywords like most appropriate, first, best, or least. They change the meaning of the question entirely and sometimes your answer completely. And hopefully this will help you understand the facts so you don't jump to conclusions. For me personally, the majority of questions I've missed over the years have been situations where I've missed a single word, like not or don't, that would have been very, very obvious, would have made the question very easy if I had slowed down to read the question in its entirety. So don't make that mistake. Read the question carefully. Mistake number 5, failing to prioritize airway, breathing, and circulation. And I might add life threats in there as well. ABC is your mantra. If you're ever unsure on a question, ask yourself, is the airway open? Is the patient breathing? Are they circulating blood? Often the correct answer is the one that fixes an airway problem, not the one that sounds way more complicated and orders some crazy intervention. Especially if something you would typically do further down the line, like certain treatments that would typically be administered after the primary or even the secondary assessment. And if you're in a scenario that includes an obvious life threat, like, I don't know, arterial bleed, treat that first. Remember your priorities, A, B, and C. Mistake number 6, not practicing under test conditions. This is a big one for me. Practice like you will need to play on game day. It's not enough just to know the material, to be comfortable or familiar with it. You need to manage your time and nerves accurately. Practice full-length tests with a timer. Sit upright in a desk. We have several sets of practice questions linked below in the description to this video. You can play our practice question videos without volume and write the answers down on a piece of paper, but practice the way you're gonna play. Turn off the TV in the background. Turn off music if you like listening to that while you're studying. I certainly do, but when I'm practicing for a test, I'm seated upright at a chair, pushed in, with my sole focus being the questions that I'm trying to answer. Besides the stuff here on our site, there are so many options for finding NREMT style practice tests. This trains your brain to perform in the very same way you will be required to perform on game day, and if you add a timer, slightly under pressure too. This is really something I stand by if that's not obvious yet. Practice like you play. If you have not seen my video on how to study for this course or other courses, it's really quite applicable, definitely add that to your playlist. Reading the book, reviewing slides, etc. Certainly better than doing nothing, but practicing recall in the way that you will be expected to perform unlocks another level of understanding and comprehension. There's a good reason that you must pass both a cognitive and psychomotor exam to get your EMT license or cert. There's a good reason you will have to do several shifts with a field training officer when you're hired by a new ambulance company or fire department. No one cares what you know if you can't put it together correctly at the appropriate time. So practice the way you will be expected to perform in this situation for the exam ahead. Mistake number 7, ignoring weak areas. We think we won't do this, but we have a slight bias to do this for ourselves because we like getting questions right. We all have that one section we dread. Could be OB, trauma, operations. For most people, it's med legal. But avoiding it won't help you pass. So as you go through questions, as you go through categories, identify your weakest domain and spend double the time reviewing just that. That's where you'll gain the most points. This is plain and simple. Well, I thought the other mistakes were plain and simple too, but worth a reminder. Shift your focus to your weakness and push yourself harder in those categories. This is a great opportunity to connect with classmates that might have mastered those topics that are weaknesses for you, and you can share your strengths with them. Study in groups if you can, and definitely take advantage of their perspective on categories that are weak for you. If you need personalized tutoring, reach out to us and we'll probably be able to connect you with an experienced EMT or paramedic who can give you some one-on-one study time. But either way, don't neglect the topics you need the most help with. So, let's go through a quick recap. What did we learn here? First, know the test format. Think like an EMT, not a student. Put these things into practice. See the scenario. Practice your assessments out loud and in order, and get comfortable with medical and trauma assessments. Read the questions carefully so you don't miss any critical details. Don't forget to prioritize ABCs, as they almost certainly are the priority. And take tests where you simulate test conditions. Quiet room, seated, answering the questions on paper. Tackle your weak spots. Don't neglect an opportunity here to fortify a category that you are almost certainly going to lose points in otherwise. Remember, passing the NREMT is not about being perfect. It's about being consistent and prepared. The more you understand the test is designed to challenge you, the better you'll ultimately do. So thanks for watching. Check out the other videos we have, like how to study smarter, not harder, with tips on time management, active recall, and building a custom study plan. Drop a comment below and let's have a little bit of a discussion. Let me know what you think. Which of these mistakes have you caught yourself doing? What's been one of the most frustrating parts of National Registry exam prep so far? Let's help each other out in the comments below. Share your thoughts. We'll see you in the next lesson. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. It's really useful to us as we're trying to rebuild this channel and combine and refresh a lot of material. Ask questions in the comments and let us know what topics you think we should cover next. See you soon.